Sasuke Uchiha, the second legendary shinobi that Toneri Otsutsuki told Soruto about, was now in front of him. Soruto's eyes filled with tears as he asked his grandfather what happened to his father.
It always takes courage to take such big steps. I am so proud of you, Soruto. I wish I could train you myself and tell you everything that you need to know, but the thing is, your journey was meant to save the world. Your father knew this all. He didn't want to tell this to anyone but to you. He's no longer a human being, and the blue bird was his final human will. But you can change everything, Soruto. Go and save the world.
After completing this statement, the spirit of Sasuke vanished. Soruto was completely astonished as he couldn't understand what it meant that his dad was no longer a human being. When he regained consciousness, the bluebird had completely disappeared, leaving its feathers behind. It seemed to him that it all was over as the bluebird was gone now. But suddenly he heard someone scream, "It's not over yet," from his behind. It was Daisuke, and he asked Soruto to hurry up as it's their only chance to change everything. They both hastily reached the cave of time, which was gleaming miraculously, and there was a portal-like thing at the very end of it. Daisuke told Soruto to hurry up and jump in the portal. Soruto, who was still perplexed, couldn't think of anything else and jumped into the portal. The portal was actually a wormhole that took them back to the time when Daisuke was manipulated by Jigen. They were somewhere on the Konoha outskirts, and Daisuke told Soruto to keep his eyes on that empty ground. Suddenly, Boruto, Sasuke and Saraja appeared there, and it seemed like they were searching for someone. Soruto asked Daisuke what was going on, and he told him that they are in the past, and it's the same day when that fight happened. The fight that he regrets the most, the fight when he was against his own peers. Suddenly, a 13-year-old Daisuke appeared with karma all over his body. Soruto asked him what these black patterns all over his body were, and Daisuke told him that it's the karma, the will that an Otsutsuki puts into a human being to get resurrected into his body. Before the fight took place, Daisuke told Soruto to run away as they can't mess with the timeline. Soruto asked him why the hell then did they come back to time if they couldn't change the darkest day of his life. Daisuke told him that it is not about him but the humanity. Soruto got confused and asked him how were they supposed to save humanity by time traveling back into the past. Daisuke told him the person who was the other reincarnation will meet them here. Further, it's not known whether it would be a guy or a girl, but if the prophecies are true, then they must be of Daisuke's age group in this era. Soruto told him that the person would be a 13-year-old kid right now if they go by his logic. But Daisuke interrupted by saying that the person must be a 20-year-old right now, as time was also a prominent factor in the 9 statements of the Cave of Life. Soruto asked him if he knew exactly where they will meet that person, and Daisuke replied the 7 caves. After traveling for a good while, they finally reached the 7 caves. There they met a girl wearing traditional shinobi outfit, waiting outside the Cave of Life. That girl was Amaya Senju, the granddaughter of Tobirama Senju and the reincarnation of Ashura Otsutsuki. Daisuke fell in love with her at first sight. Amaya came near to Daisuke and healed her S-shaped scar with her healing jutsu. She then told Daisuke about her prophetic dream where Hogoromo Otsutsuki foretold her that she will be blessed with the prodigy who will be the key to saving the world 11 years in the future. After a brief discussion, Daisuke confessed his love to her and assured her that they will be staying forever in the future with their child after saving the world. Amaya agreed and it started to rain. Soruto interrupted them by saying it's already sunset and they both should spend this night together in the Cave of Life, and he will be staying at some other cave for the time being. Soruto then went to the Cave of Time to spend the night, and there he checked his pocket and found a feather of the bluebird. Soruto then fell asleep and had a dream of his father Boruto for the very first time. Boruto, who had apparently become an Otsutsuki, told Soruto that the future is about to change and he has almost completed his mission. Soruto then woke up suddenly and it was already morning. He saw Daisuke sitting beside him, who told him that they shall go back to the future. Soruto asked about Amaya and Daisuke said they will now be meeting her in the future along with their Rinnegan child. Soruto then activated his Byaku Sharingan and went back to the future. Upon returning to the future, they met 31-year-old Amaya, who was waiting outside with her child who had inherited the Rinnegan. Amaya embraced Daisuke with tears in her eyes as she told him that now they will be living happily forever. Daisuke whispered something about the sacrifice in her ear which left her stunned. Soruto asked Daisuke what's his name, and Daisuke told him that it's Itachi II. When they entered the Cave of Chaos, Daisuke's son used his Rinnegan and everything around them started gleaming. After a few moments, Daisuke's son started to disappear and Amaya started crying her heart out. Daisuke, who was also in tears, tried to calm her down by saying it was in their fate and they can do nothing about it. Sacrifices are what make one capable of going through the harsh phases of life. Both Amaya and Daisuke were suffering the loss of losing their child, but it was also the beginning of their new life. Soruto had went completely speechless by witnessing these events in front of his eyes, but now it was his turn for the sacrifice. Suddenly, Soruto zoned out and went into some other dimension. His father Boruto, who was wearing a white Otsutsuki-like outfit, appeared in front of him and told him that he has successfully completed his mission. The Cave of Chaos has now created a protective wheel around Earth, therefore no Otsutsuki will be now able to land on the planet. Peace and harmony shall now prevail on the planet and everyone will be able to live their lives with no fear of any outside danger. Boruto told Soruto that how proud he is feeling right now for being the father of a hero who saved the world. Soruto started sobbing and told Boruto that he wants him to come back to Earth and live a happy life with his family. Upon hearing this, Boruto went silent for some moments and then told Soruto that sacrifices were written in their destiny as well. Soruto got confused and asked Boruto to explain. Boruto then explained to him that as the Earth is now protected by the wheel, no Otsutsuki shall be able to find the planet. Boruto, who became an Otsutsuki upon visiting their planet after the Otsutsuki War, is no exception to this. He then told Soruto to stay strong and look after his loved ones. Soruto fell into trauma and got totally speechless. Boruto then used his Jogun and made Soruto witness the entire Otsutsuki War and the legacy of his father and forefathers. When Soruto opened his eyes, he found himself at his home with his mother by his side. She told him that he truly continued the legacy of his forefathers and now this peace that he brought shall be eternal. On the other hand, Daisuke, who had reported everything to his sister, was now planning to leave the land of fire with his lover to travel across the world. Finally, the news of the new dawn spread across all the nations and Soruto was remarked as the true hero of this age. Also, Daisuke himself told his sister that he won't be taking any credit for his actions as a repentance for his sins. A few years after this incident, the shinobi system was abandoned from the great nations as technology took over everything. And then Soruto and his peers lived happily ever after.